So that concludes our revision of the previous lesson. As I mentioned at the start of the lesson, our topic today is the geography of ancient Egypt. I've already covered our learning intention for today, so what we'll move on with is a mapping exercise. So this task will involve us locating and labeling key geographical features of ancient Egypt. We'll also identify and label some important man-made features, such as cities and religious sites. Just so if we encounter these sites later on in our studies of the unit, we'll have an idea of where they're located in ancient Egypt. Before we get started on the mapping exercise, why might key geographical features of an ancient society be important for us to know about as historians? Why do you think? Yes? Exactly right, because they will impact how and where the society develops. Good thinking. All right, so now I'm going to hand out your copy of a map of ancient Egypt. Make sure you have one. Now, before I give you a checklist of everything I want your map to have, think about what features you maybe should include on your map. Remember our bolts, and remember that we're looking for the geographical features. So does anyone have any suggestions on what they think they might need to incorporate into their maps? Yes? A title, exactly right. Title, super important to have, so we actually know what we're looking at when we look at our map. Good. Orientation, yep, another good thing to have. We definitely want to have that compass in there, so it orientates our map and we know which direction the map is facing. That's probably all we're going to need for bolts, just because it is a simple map. So we're not going to need a scale really, because we're just identifying the geographical features. Speaking of geographical features, what are some sort of geographical features maybe we should include on our map? Yes? Deserts? Yeah, exactly right. Deserts, definitely want to include those. Yes? Rivers? Sure, rivers, very important to have. One more? Yep. And oceans and seas. Good answers all. All right, so here's the complete checklist. You got most of those things. So tidal, compass, seas and oceans, rivers and deltas, any cataracts. So if you haven't come across the word cataracts before, that basically means waterfalls or boulder-strewn parts of a river that water flows fast over, essentially making like whitewater rapids. Pardon me. We want to color in fertile areas on our map. We want to label and shade desert areas, label and color oases. We want to identify those man-made features, and we want to identify land that's controlled by neighboring kingdoms. So our map might not be controlled entirely by the ancient Egyptian kingdom. There might be some areas of the map that are controlled by other kingdoms, so we want to make sure we identify those areas on our map. All right. So this is the map we'll be working off. It's very similar to our line map, just more detail filled in there. All right, so at this stage, I would give the students an opportunity to complete the task, give them some time to do that. Whilst they're performing the task, I would move around the classroom, provide support and ask questions, make sure the students understand the task and provide any support that they need. Once they've had an opportunity to complete the task, I will conduct a second round of questioning. What were the key geographical features of ancient Egypt that we identified on our maps? Can someone give me one? Yes. The river, Nile River, and the Delta system, exactly right. Good answer. So why is that a key geographical feature? Because it identified the fertile area that allowed the ancient Egyptians to grow their crops. Yes, very good answer. Super important geographical feature for the ancient Egyptians because it allowed them to grow their food. Anyone have another key geographical feature? What's that? The deserts? Exactly right. So we have two deserts, the Eastern and Western Desert. And why are they key geographical features for the ancient Egyptian society? That is correct, because they limited the Eastern and Western expansion of ancient Egypt. Because the desert's not a good place to grow crops, very low rainfall, very inhospitable, it limited the ancient Egyptian society, the growth and expansion. So basically they had to expand following the Nile River, basically in a north to south, rough north to south direction, as opposed to east or west. Good answer. Can someone give me one final geographical feature? Our two seas, exactly right. So we have the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea on our maps. Well done. And why are these key geographical features for ancient Egypt? Yeah, they enabled trade with neighboring kingdoms. Exactly right. So good answers there. So that concludes my explanation for video 1 of assessment task 3. Thank you very much.